John, you have a really strong artist statement here. Talks about connecting the past, the present, and future, and especially tells us a little bit about your upbringing and the things that are important to you. So I would encourage everybody to read John's artist statement. I think it has a nice hook to it and doesn't give the viewer too much, but enough so that they have some sort of context to understand his images. That being said, I really like this first image. There's kind of a pattern going on here that almost reminds me of kind of links on a chain, and you're sort of connecting all these different parts of the image, and there's sort of all these more modern parts contrasted against sort of some of these older parts, and then even the American flag up in the middle of the frame that always sort of has a very metaphorical or symbolic quality to it. So I think a pretty solid start to your portfolio. Might think about editing this tree out there. I'm not necessarily sure that that really adds any kind of value to the image as a whole. The next shot, love it a lot. I'm assuming these are your parents and your mom, who is just laughing. You can get there's a sense of family here. The pictures in the background tells us a little bit more about the family and the closeness of the family relationship, and really like your use of the blur here too. It brings this image alive, and you know, really speaks a lot to the personalities of the subjects in there. Your third image is much more of a quieter image. We've got a lot of dark areas on the edges of the frame with a really bright spot in the center. I think the effect that does is it really pulls us into the middle of the photograph, and kind of the momentum that is created by the movement of the water is echoed in the viewer's visual momentum. In other words, it kind of pushes the story or pushes the narrative forward. So I think that's very solid there. And then your image of the church, particularly with the steeples that are pointing upwards, your connection to God or spirituality that is symbolized in this photograph, I think is very obvious and well done. It's very simple, very clean, just a nice overall good black and white image. And again, I think the symbolism of it is very obvious and apparent. And again, I think it works good so far with your story. I do like the idea of using mirrors here to kind of see forward and also see what's behind you. The only problem I'm starting to have here is it's a little bit of a darker type of shot, and I think when we juxtapose it against the image of your parents and even that image of the church, it tends to be a little bit darker in feeling. And I'm just wondering if the idea, I really like the idea a lot, but I'm maybe not so in love with it as part of a cohesive element within your whole project. So just something to think about there, and be interested to see what some of the critiques from the class and what their feedback is on this, because it is a very you know, good way of talking about the past, the present, and the future, but it just feels a little bit out of place because of the really heavy, dark tone that it has to it. And I just point to the steeple up here. You know, if you just look at how this steeple is contrasted with the brightness of the steeple in the previous shot, you know, I just makes me wonder if it fits in overall. So we'll stop right here for the first half of your portfolio and take on the next part in the next video.